The story started in London late at night when Fletcher, a sharp private investigator, showed up at Raymond's place. Raymond, right-hand man of Mickey Pearson, one of Britain's biggest marijuana bosses, listened as Fletcher laid down a lucrative deal. He was offering £20 million to keep quiet. At first, Raymond called him greedy, yet Fletcher stayed calm, insisting the information he had was worth every penny. Then Fletcher explained Mickey's rise. Growing up poor in the US, Mickey had used his brains to get into Oxford on a scholarship. While most students partied, he noticed the wealthy loved weed, so he started selling quietly. Soon, school didn't matter anymore, and he dropped out to focus on building his empire. Using strategy instead of street fights, Mickey kept his operations clean and hidden. Then Fletcher highlighted Mickey's real estate strategy. Many old estates across Britain had become empty, so Mickey bought the land under them and built 12 high-tech underground weed farms. One partner, Lord Pressfield, had a daughter, Laura, who struggled with addiction, and their deal worked smoothly, giving both influence and profit. As legalization approached, Mickey planned his exit, targeting Matthew Berger, a seemingly clean American billionaire. Mickey showed him one of the secret farms, a quiet barn outside, but a fully operational high-tech setup below. He sold Berger not just a business, but a future. Fletcher also emphasized Rosalind, Mickey's wife, who was sharp, capable, and untouchable. She ran her own network, and Mickey's world revolved around protecting her. Finally, although Raymond stayed composed and skeptical, deep down he realized that if even half of Fletcher's story was true, trouble had already arrived, and Mickey's empire was no longer untouchable. Raymond had enough of Fletcher's games and told him he was wasting time, but Fletcher stayed calm and told him to be patient. So, while Fletcher kept talking, Raymond walked to the deep freezer to grab some meat for dinner. Under the slabs of beef, he pulled out something cold and stiff, a frozen body packed neatly like old leftovers. He didn't even flinch, just moved the body aside, grabbed the meat, and went back to the table like it was a normal day at work. Fletcher kept going with his story, and things got more intense. A new player entered the scene, Dry Eye, a young hotshot working under Lord George, one of the big Chinese gang bosses. Dry Eye came to Mickey with an offer to buy his business, but his tone was arrogant and disrespectful. Mickey turned him down instantly. Dry Eye left angry but not beaten. He was impulsive and didn't know when to quit. Soon after, one of Mickey's secret weed farms, the same one he'd shown to Berger, got raided. But the attackers weren't pros or rival gangs. They were a bunch of wannabe MMA fighters and YouTubers who called themselves the Toddlers. They recorded the whole thing like it was a rap video, taking down guards, looting the place, and posting clips online showing off stolen weed while rapping in front of it.
Oh, hello.
What three lads?
Man's egg got cracked and his legs went jet. When you see ghosts, spinning back, kick, might take off your nose. My name's Ernie. Thing man at airport, put in a double leg takedown.
The video went viral overnight, putting Mickey's entire empire at risk. Mickey lost his cool, while Raymond started moving plants from other farms before more damage was done. Meanwhile, the toddler's trainer, Coach, a man who treated those kids like his own, was horrified when he saw what they'd done. He ordered the video deleted, trying to contain the mess before it got worse. But trouble was already brewing somewhere else. Big Dave, editor of The Daily Print, a top gossip paper, had entered the picture. He wasn't a gangster, but he had influence and a grudge. Mickey once humiliated him at a high society event, calling out his fake manners and exposing how desperate he was to fit in with the rich crowd. That humiliation stuck deep. So, fueled by revenge, Big Dave hired Fletcher to dig up dirt on Mickey, especially any links between him and British nobility. Fletcher took the job happily, weaving half-truths and rumors into one big story, getting deeper into Mickey's hidden world. One of the leads he found was Laura Pressfield, the daughter of Lord Pressfield, one of Mickey's quiet business partners. Once from a wealthy family, Laura now lived like a ghost in a decaying apartment block, lost to addiction. Her father, desperate and ashamed, reached out to Mickey for help. Mickey agreed and sent Raymond to handle it personally. Raymond took a small team and went to the estate, a filthy block of concrete reeking of smoke, rot, and hopelessness. Inside, they found Laura surrounded by addicts who had given up on life. The air was thick with tension. When Raymond entered, the group grew aggressive, but he stayed calm. Using quiet authority, he managed to cool things down just enough to get Laura out. She was weak, spaced out, barely aware of what was happening. To be safe, Raymond told one of his men to stay behind and keep watch until Laura was secure in the car. But the calm didn't last. As soon as Raymond stepped out, one of the junkies, a twitchy guy named Alan, snapped. He grabbed a hammer and swung at the guard. Instinct kicked in, and the guard fought back hard. The fight turned wild. The others joined in, screaming and attacking. In the chaos, Alan was struck and stumbled backward over the flimsy railing, falling several floors. His body hit the concrete with a sickening thud. Outside, a group of teenagers ran over, not to help, but to film it. They recorded the mangled body, laughing and shouting, posting it online like it was some kind of show. The news spread fast. Raymond rushed back, saw the crowd, and knew how bad it was. If that video went public, Mickey's name could be tied to a murder. Without wasting a second, he ordered his men to grab every phone they could before the footage spread. Raymond knew the footage had to be wiped before it spread and got out of hand. The kids who filmed it scattered fast, laughing like it was all a game, thinking they were too smart to get caught. But Raymond's men were trained and quick. They moved with precision, chased the boys down, and took every phone they could find. After checking each one, they deleted the clips, thinking the problem was handled. What they didn't notice was Fletcher, quietly standing at a distance, blending into the chaos. While Raymond's men cleaned up, Fletcher snapped a photo of Alan's lifeless body. That one image was all he needed. Enough to build a story, enough to create leverage. He now held something Raymond wanted buried deep. Even though things got messy, Raymond's mission still ended with success. Laura was brought back home to her parents. They welcomed her with tears and shaky smiles, trying to act strong. But all the money and comfort in the world couldn't fix her broken body or her lost spirit. A few days later, she overdosed and died quietly. It wasn't a surprise, but it still left a heavy shadow over Mickey's world. Another loss, another scar on his empire. Fletcher used this tragedy like a professional manipulator. He didn't twist the facts. He didn't need to. The picture, the witnesses, and Alan's death spoke loud enough. Alan wasn't just some addict off the streets. His father was a powerful Russian with dangerous connections. It was only a matter of time before someone came looking for answers. Mickey and Raymond both knew it, and Fletcher knew they knew, which made him smile. From all sides, pressure kept closing in. The viral video hurt Mickey's image and made his operations look weak. Big Dave's tabloid investigation started poking around, digging for secrets that could expose Mickey's ties to the upper class. Laura's death risked police attention, and Dry Eye, hungry for power, began moving in the dark, cutting deals and trying to rise above Lord George. Behind the scenes, he joined forces with Berger, who wanted Mickey's business but not at full price. If Dry Eye could break Mickey's stability, Berger could swoop in and buy everything cheap. Meanwhile, Coach, the man who trained the toddlers, showed up at Raymond's place late one night. He didn't bring threats, just guilt. He admitted his boys messed up, said he tried to teach them discipline, but they acted like fools on their own. He offered to work for Mickey as repayment and begged Raymond to spare the kids. Raymond stayed calm but didn't soften. To him, forgiveness wasn't the point. Access was. He wanted to know how those kids even found one of Mickey's secret labs. Someone had to give them that intel. Coach said he already had the guy, a nervous, wheezing man named Fuck, a low-level worker for Dry Eye. Raymond agreed to go with Coach and see for himself. They found Fuck shaking and gasping for air. Raymond tried to help him breathe so he could talk, but Fuck panicked, broke free, and bolted. The chase went straight to a train platform. Before Raymond could catch him, Fuck slipped, fell onto the tracks, and got crushed by an incoming train. With another body down, things only got darker. The pressure around Mickey's empire kept building, and he finally decided enough was enough. The raid on his grow lab wasn't random. It was planned, a message meant to humiliate him. Mickey didn't need guns to respond. He preferred fear. So, one morning, he walked straight into Lord George's kitchen like he owned the place. The cooks froze, the air filled with the smell of oil and spices. Lord George came out, shocked and furious, but Mickey stayed cold and calm. As they spoke, Lord George suddenly started shaking and vomiting uncontrollably. His body gave up on him right there. Mickey watched quietly and then revealed the truth. This wasn't sickness, it was poison. Mickey slipped a tiny dose of poison into Lord George's tea, just enough to scare him, but not kill. When George started shaking and vomiting, Mickey calmly handed him the antidote. The message was clear. Nowhere was safe, not even his own kitchen. It wasn't about death. It was about control, showing George what disrespect cost. After leaving George gasping on the floor, Mickey made his next move. He hit one of George's heroin plants, not with chaos, but with precision. His men burned it to the ground, turning steel and smoke into ash. It wasn't revenge, it was balance, a clear statement that Mickey still ran the show. George lost it and called Dry Eye to his office, furious over the mess. The shouting didn't last long. One of Dry Eye's men shot George on the spot. Dry Eye's rise was fast, bloody, and planned. Behind him, Matthew Berger, the rich American who once tried to buy Mickey's empire, pulled the strings. Berger used Dry Eye to stir chaos, hoping to collapse Mickey's empire from the inside. But Mickey saw it coming. Dry Eye went too far, sending men after Rosalind at her luxury garage. She fought back hard, killing 2 attackers before running out of bullets. When Dry Eye cornered her, thinking he could break Mickey, Mickey heard the screams over the phone. He raced across the city with Raymond, crashed their car, ran the rest of the way, and shot Dry Eye twice, clean and final. Later, Fletcher showed up at Raymond's place, asking for $20 million to stay quiet. But Raymond already knew everything. His crew had stolen Fletcher's files and cleaned up his mess. Fletcher revealed he had sold key info to a Russian with a thirst for revenge. Assassins hit the streets, but Mickey's crew and the toddlers stopped them, saving Mickey. By morning, Raymond cleaned up the last traces. Big Dave got trapped and silenced. Mickey met Berger at a frozen fish plant, showing him Dry Eye's frozen body and demanding triple the money plus a pound of flesh. Berger froze in the cold. Fletcher tried pitching Bush as a movie, only to realize too late that Raymond had him locked in a cab. With the Russians gone, Berger frozen, Big Dave silenced, and the toddlers part of the crew, Mickey returned stronger, bloodier, and sharper than ever. Rosalind was safe, the empire intact, and everyone knew the Pearsons still ruled the city.